Hi, so this is Kathleen with Sunny Mountain Patterns, and this is how I make technical or flat drawings using the patterns that I have in Illustrator. I can, of course, freehand it, and I'm not going to do that because it's kind of messy when I'm kind of out of practice. But I've already imported my drawings. I also have a little selection here where I've got pre-done SVG lines, so for ruffles and buttons and gathers, and my dog is barking in zippers, and I'm going to put all these together. And if you hear somebody talking in the background, it's my little child who is trying to extend his bedtime. So I have to get all of these scaled down because they will not fit on actual printable paper. This is the full-size scale for one of my patterns, so I have to highlight them all, shrink them down to scale. If you're wanting to do this yourself, it's a shift and scale down. So there, this all fits on one side. Okay, so I need to make the front and the back, left and right. So I'm gonna actually work on only one side at a time. So I will move my back out of the way. So this is my button placket, which gets put on. We have to do a few things. First, I need to change the dimensions of the button placket so it's somewhat aligned. The thing is, with actual illustration, you're trying to convey a sort of three-dimensional object in a 2D. So it's not going to be completely straight across. You're going to have a little bit of a bump to convey that this is a different part. Also, this has got to be folded in half, so it's approximately there. Not only that, is when you put this on the body, this part, the arm side, is actually going to be shorter because it's going to wrap around the body when you actually show it. So here I'm already looking at all the points, which the shortcut is A if you're on Illustrator. You can do this, of course, on Inkscape, but, oh, what did I do? But I find it easier, since my files are already on Illustrator right now, to do this. I'm just going to clean up those extra points. Same thing here. Okay, that's fine. So we have to make this less wide, or else when you reflect it, it's going to look stupid fat. And that's not very attractive when you're trying to show this as a mock-up, for example. So when this is put together, if it had the placket already in place, that looks incredibly wide and somewhat not proportional. Also, you're gonna have problems when we put in the sleeves. So we're gonna have to shorten up this width here by selecting those and then move this over, because when it's actually made as a garment and you do a flat lay, this is not gonna be as exaggerated as when you have a pattern, because the pattern has to wrap around the body. I think I already said that. So we're gonna leave that there. I'm also gonna leave this curved because it's a curve. This one actually is pretty easy. There's not much to do because it's very flat. So then I want to tackle the sleeve. So I have two options. I have short sleeve and long sleeve. I will do each one individually. I'll probably just do the long sleeve. So I need to move this over. I'm going to flip this, transform. That's good. And I need to rotate this into place. So anchor, and then rotate. I press R if you're wondering what the shortcuts I do are. And I don't want it completely out to the side, because then I would have to draw in folding lines, which I do not want to do for the flat lay, because normally when you lift up your arms that high, you will have some fold lines and some crumpling just from it sitting on the body. So we're gonna go about there, but I'm gonna go ahead and delete this curvature line. Oh, this has got a lot of little lines, and this is because I did some extra, ooh, what did I do here? There. That's because I did some extra things to it. I'm just pressing the beat. Great, that's good enough. The bodice has extra stuff on it because I did extra cuts. I had to use this to generate the facing for things. So Illustrator helpfully made extra points that I have to delete later. Yay me. So here I generally, when I learned fashion design, the instructor for flat lays liked to have sleeves like this. So I might actually rotate this a little bit more, but she liked to have it where this is a little bit set back from not connecting here to here. It just kind of looks a little stiff and funky. So we're trying to convey the fact that this is a garment, right? That's made out of, not out of plastic. Oop. I want the whole thing to rotate. So we're trying to convey that this is not, in fact, plastic. And I swear to good Lord, Illustrator sometimes does not like me. I can tell you SolidWorks doesn't like me either. Neither does AutoCAD. I took graduate level in engineering AutoCAD, and it still doesn't like me. Anyway, so I want it somewhat down, but again, we have to convey this three-dimensional. Love it. Just click. Now I want 1 point. Just an anchor point. Thank you. So somewhere around here, you kind of have to eyeball it just to make it sure it looks proportional. So at this point, it's not going to be level here. We're going to need to move this up a little bit. We want to convey a three-dimensional tubular shape. So, two things I need to do. One, I need to convert this into a curve, but with a sharp side. I'm sure there's a shorter way of doing it. I'm just too lazy to find out. Same thing with the top. So both are going to be kind of like little anemic rainbows. I mean, the sides of little anemic rainbows. Second off, we need a slight cap here, though my design has not got excessive gathering. It probably doesn't even need any gathering. It does need to convey the fact that a shoulder can fit in here. So again, we have to click it and make it into a curve or smooth, which you see it did something pretty funky. So I want a little bit of extra volume here. That looks good. And then also, because I want this to be tubular shaped, one of the other techniques, which is not the one I learned, is to make this slightly curved and then draw it with another tube. Another tube here, and then I need to actually make this curved as well. It's in the tiny, tiny details that make this look good. And I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm probably the worst to do this. But this is basically how it goes. Oh, I did not mean to do that. So I want to intersect here and here. Not what I wanted. Okay. So this is, unfortunately right now, the pen is deciding that I want to actually attach to this or delete or add points, which I do not want to do. I actually just want to create a arced line. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this in place by pressing Ctrl 2. That way I can't touch this, but it still recognizes it as a line. It's a little tiny trick. So I want here to here. Now I have that line that I want, but I also want it curved to make a tube. Not a generous one, because it's still going to be kind of flat. It's going to be ridiculous if it's super. So this is what happens when it's super generous. It looks dumb. It looks like it's hanging outside. That's not like it's coming out the page, but if you really had a piece of fabric or a flat lay, it would not do that. It's not my experience. I don't know what you're making your fabric out of. Okay. So here's where you have to start getting picky. Thing moved. Okay. I'm sorry about the clicking. So we're gonna unlock, Control Alt, and then 2. This is too curvy, I can tell. Because it looks, for lack of better A to get all the anchor points, and then B to just grab the whole object. Okay, this is looking slightly better. Same thing here. Now I need to match all this up. What a pain. It's easier to do this by hand if I could just get more accurate. It's so out of practice. Okay. So generally when you zoom out, it's not that big a deal. I just like to be picky. So if I had things like darts or pockets, I would put them here, right? Or if this was slightly gathered at the bottom, for example, or had a ruffle, I already pre-made ruffles. I would add that in. If I could just grab this correctly. Not what I wanted. Copy, paste. Okay. I actually do this when I'm not recording. I say copy, paste. So I would actually replace the bottom hemline with this if it was ruffled, for example. But that's not what I'm actually doing today. So I also need to put in a collar, which is this is the top collar version. I need to this and reflect horizontally. So collars are a little bit trickier because a lot of times they stand up and they go in on itself. So I need to rotate this. I hope I pressed the rotate. Alright, R for rotate. That's how I remember it. Okay, I need the entire piece. So I press V to make sure I'm on this selector. The selection tool. This makes a lot more sense in Inkscape because they actually show it like pointing to an anchor point and versus a line. Come on. What the heck? Okay, no. I want the anchor point here. Try it one more time. Sometimes delicious. Are you kidding me? I just need this to rotate. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Did I actually lock this stuff? Okay. One more time. No such luck. What in the world is going on now? Okay, so I have an anchor. I've had a talk with Illustrator about listening to me. And then we're going to grab it and move it. It would help if I had the part that's actually going to be attached to the neckline anchored for rotation. So you have to also know how this is put together to know that, hey, this has got to go in. Okay. So there's a problem because this is longer than here, mostly because you need to be able to do that to create the collar. So we have to kind of zhuzh it. So in this case, we need to move this up a little bit so that we still get that profile of this curve. And not only that, is this is going to definitely be, about right around here where my arrow is, thinner. So we have to account for that because when it's sewn together, proportionally, it's going to be sewn right about there. Also, oh good lord, there's all these things. Also, technically, if I want to be completely accurate, I would move this over a little bit, or I would build all of this to scale and then shrink it down. You can do that with SVGs because they are a scalable vector graphic, which is a mathematical function describing the angle, length, and curvature or whatever between the points. I'm not doing that, so we're just going to pretend I moved that a little bit over. So here, I'm going to keep, this is pretty much where I want the curve to be. Of course, this is blatantly way too big because when you see my actual pictures, this is much smaller. So that's no bueno. So maybe I might do a little bit of a shrink. Just shh, don't tell anyone I did this. Technically, that's not how you size things. Okay. So when this is more representative of the proportions that I have, we can go ahead and notice this is, I can still see the back. So I'm going to go ahead and change the fill to be white. If it could listen though. Oh, I know what else. Also, this needs to be raised to the top because maybe. I want to change that. I do, however, want to delete one of these paths. Now what did I do? Sometimes things are connected in weird ways. Oh look, there's extra stuff over here that we don't need. Don't want that. Okay, I'm just pressing minus to get rid of that. So actually, I probably want to reshape this slightly because it's not precisely. Anyway, let's move this guy over. Alright. So we have a dilemma. If I fill this, it's going to cut off from this line to this line. So I will give you a better idea. So that's where the line is, and that's not correct. So I need to actually trace over here and around to get this all correct. Lovely. So that's more work, but that's where you click on the pen tool and you can do this, and you want to highlight that till it turns that line to indicate it's making a line. And then you can try to do it one shot by here and here, and then click and drag. But that is a lot harder than it looks. So I'm going to actually make an extra point. I'm trying very hard to match this. Okay. Enter to get out of that. And then you can either click and click, or you can highlight, shift highlight, and then right click and say join. Okay, so now I need meow and meow to go up slightly, and then it doesn't matter because it's covering up the collar below it. Alright, and I made that smooth by clicking this button up here just to smooth it out, and it hates me because now I screwed up my collar. Undo that because that was even worse than before. It's okay if it's a little bit bigger, as long as it covers up. Alright, so I'm going to make this into not red. There, white, which is the default. Lovely. I lost it for a second. So if you notice this is gray back here, it's because I'm in isolated mode. I want to get out of that. If you don't want to see this little line from the button placket sticking out, you can either click on the button placket and make it a little bit smaller, or make the collar bigger. It's up to you. Alright, so we're saving that. I have to mirror this now, and then I can put buttons on, and the front will be almost done. I need to put the back, which I could actually technically do right now. I need to resize it anyway. So I line up the point, the shoulder points, because that's what lines up when you sew, right? And then this goes back like this. A little bit up, because the sides also usually match. Alright, so we can actually move this. If I could just click on the whole thing and arrange and send to back, or this is shift control left bracket. I don't do this very much, but you notice that you can't see it, so you gotta make this fill white. Same thing with the sleeve. So the problem with the sleeve is now you gotta move this backwards as well. There. copying it, I think I'm going to do that. Oh, this is the back button. I just realized that. Okay, so this needs to move over with this guy anyway. No wonder why it was so long. That means we have to move all of this over so that the Peter Pan collar fits in the center. Yeah, that's not too difficult. No, that's more difficult than I thought. Okay, lovely. We have to move everything over. We don't want to mess up this curvature too much. Oh, okay. Confidence on my abilities here. I'll have to rotate this a little bit. No. I do not know why sometimes it decides to rotate only some of the points, especially when I already told it to do. There we go. Okay. That looks much better. So now probably need to get I need to squish all this down. It's got to match with the shoulders, yes? I do not know. Nope. It's frustrating. Oh, brilliant. Now it's all funky. We're a little bit of artistic license is needed compared to how it actually looks. Wow. I have to speed this up. Yeah, so I'm gonna watch this for 23 stupid minutes. If you have, congratulations. I don't even want to be here for 23 minutes. I'm the one doing it. Alright. We gotta fix all this. Hey. There we go. Okay, that is way too tight, by the way. If we change this autofill, you can see might need to add on another point. Might make my life easier. Yeah, come on. Inkscape you can just grab and drag and it'll automatically make it curved. But Illustrator likes to be difficult. I mean, I'm not saying I hate Illustrator because it does a lot more powerful things than Inkscape, but good lord. Like, do I need to move? Why do I have to click on a point? I'm just gonna use my mouse. I mean my arrow keys because I'm starting to get tired of my mouse. Alright, I give up keeping that curve. I just know what it's supposed to look like finished. So I'm trying to match that. Okay. So, in this case, we're going to delete some of these points so they don't show up on this copy. I could just press delete. Aha. I'm sighing a lot because I'm severely frustrated with the fact that I need to click on it, then press delete. Hello. Or you can click and drag to highlight multiple pieces. I don't need any of this. I need that. Okay, Control Z. Alright. I didn't need any of those pieces. What I do need is the back piece. I need this to be just slightly bigger, not a whole lot, just a tiny bit. Perhaps a little narrower. proportionally wise, that's what it should be. Okay. Alright, so attach that to the back so that shows up. Okay. Now I need to move this all the way to the back. Transform. Move. My bad. Not move. Arrange and send to back. Starts to come together. What we want to do is copy basically everything except for the button placket, because the button placket's going to go ahead and stay put. I'm going to transform reflect. I'm right clicking, by the way. Obviously that's the wrong way. I want it vertical, but I also want to copy it. So I'm going to shift and move over. If I press shift, that would help. Okay. So I have two sides. With it. Come on. You can change the angle of the sleeve, of course, so it's not so wide. I think I might do that later. Okay, just pretend I moved over with it. Okay, so we do not need. We do need that. Okay. We want that to be white fill because we need this to bring up forward just one. So I don't want this center line. I also like to drag things on accident. So I need to click and drag. Okay, I don't need all that stuff. I need that, and I need that. Okay, I'm pressing Shift down for shape, and I want to click and drag to add them together. There's the whole piece together for the front. Should be a little bit of curve here if we're going to be very technical, which I'm not sure with all of these stupid anchor points I can actually put a curve in, but generally, okay, here's another little tiny point. Generally you want the collar to be slightly higher than the shoulder, for the most part, because the collar does not usually sit completely flush with the collar. It's a simple piece, it's got extra thicknesses, it's got to be up off of the shoulder. So generally that looks more three-dimensional than the other things. I don't know what happened here. There we go. It's too far forward. So what happens is if I have the back done completely, copy. Of course I did not have it on. The whole thing I only had is like, don't point this stupid segment. I've been doing this for a while and I'm still frustrated. Which I also already have pre-made. So these are rather big, and normally I do buttonholes this way. So I just need to rotate it. So I'm putting these together. here, right? The buttons were way too big to fit in here. Okay. So now Control G to group, copy and paste, which is Control C, Control V, and then just paste these all here, however many I want. So say I want 5. It's starting to come together though. And it doesn't actually matter. Because I'm going to align them, and then I'm going to use this little handy thing to evenly distribute. Oh my gosh. It makes my life so much easier than trying to eyeball it. But even then, just to get a front and a back of one view took me half an hour. Bless you for listening to me for half an hour complain about Illustrator. And that's not even, I haven't even got, there's no fancy stuff. There's no top stitching shown. There's no reinforcing stitching. There's no, I don't have cuff stitching shown. Those are all extra things that need to get put in. So if I was going to do, say I wanted a hem stitch shown, I would have to do a similar thing as I did for the cuff. Match the collar, match this. But then click out of there, because for some reason Illustrator doesn't like it when I click on it and change it. It changes to a dashed line, for example, but I don't want that. You have to figure out what to do. Yeah, so you have a dashed line to show top stitching, for example. You can also put in, if there's a lot of gathers, some of these type of strokes, which again, my designs don't have a lot of gathers for the shoulder because they're makes it easier to fit when you're sewing, but it's a little fussy, I think. So you'd have a bunch of these just kind of more accurately placed and shorter, way shorter. Now we have gathers, pleats, that sort of thing. But that's basically what goes into creating a line drawing if you're not doing it by hand. A lot of people don't do it by hand anymore because it's more accurate to do here. That being said, it's much faster to do it by hand. So I'm hoping to get better at doing it on the tablet so I can have a digital version, but having done it by hand so I don't have to go through all of this. It's a bit more accurate though for proportion-wise. So if you want to try to do this, of course, for personal use, you can go ahead and do this. So say you're selling something, you make a mock-up, and you're not really happy with the quality or the features of the mock-up or the technical drawing that's provided by your maker. You can make these if you have Inkscape or Illustrator to trace the patterns. But again, it's just people's intellectual property, so you probably should make these to be selling to other people, unless it's for designs. But for mock-ups, this is pretty much how you do it. Again, it took me half an hour to do the front and to do the back as well, and then I have to change out the sleeves and make sleeveless. But that's pretty easy to do because you just sleeveless, right? So I hope this helped, and for more tips, join my Facebook group at Sewing Sunny Mountain. Yeah, just Sewing Sunny Mountain. The link will be in below. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.